Okay, if you caught any NFL preseason action, you probably saw, or at least heard about, that Jaguars' defensive performance against the Steelers.
Oh, yeah. It definitely created some buzz.
Buzz is putting it mildly. I mean, getting diced and sliced, as some put it, by Mason Rudolph, a backup quarterback. That certainly wasn't the start anyone expected.
No, definitely not. And look, it's preseason, we know that, but it still sparks some, let's say, urgent conversations about what needs fixing and fast.
Exactly. So that's what we're diving into today. We want to unpack what happened there, but more importantly, really zero in on three specific changes an expert analysis suggests the Jags should make to shore up that
Right.
defense.
This isn't just about one bad game. It's about looking ahead, understanding the strategy, and figuring out how they can get things right before week one.
And the team isn't exactly hiding from it. Defensive coordinator Anthony Campanile was pretty upfront.
He said, and I'm quoting here, I think we've got to do a better job with communication. I think that's probably the number one thing.
Number one, he didn't mince words.
No. He mentioned it's everywhere, even sideline operation, all that stuff. So pretty fundamental things.
He did add the usual poach speak caveats. You see stuff like that in openers, they'll get better, and they did a lot of good things too.
Of course. Got to balance it out. But that focus on communication, right off the bat, that really stands out.
It does. So for you listening, what does that immediately tell you? Why is communication the starting block for fixing a defense?
Well, it's interesting he went there first, isn't it? Because
Yeah.
on defense, communication isn't just important, it's everything. It's like the nervous system of the unit.
Okay, explain that a bit more.
Think about it. Offense is mostly scripted, right?
Yeah.
The play comes in, everyone knows the plan. Defense, it's much more reactive. You're constantly adjusting on the fly to shifts, motions, audibles.
Right, reading the offense.
Exactly. And if one guy sees man coverage, another sees zone, or if the call doesn't get relayed properly from the sideline or even across the line, boom, you get huge breakdowns, misalignments, busted coverages.
Which sounds exactly like what happened against Rudolph.
Precisely. So when communication fails, it doesn't matter how athletic you are. The whole structure just collapses. It's about that instant shared understanding.
That makes a lot of sense. It's that collective brain not firing together. Okay, so let's get into the first specific change this analysis recommends. It involves personnel. Start Darnell Savage at safety.
Right. Now this is interesting because safety has been a bit of a battleground in camp.
Yeah, you've had Andrew Wingard, Savage, and Antonio Johnson all getting reps with the starters, but Wingard got the actual start in that Steelers game and apparently the most first-team snaps overall in camp.
Correct. But this analysis makes a pretty strong case for Savage to be the guy alongside Eric Murray.
And the reasoning.
It really boils down to athleticism. The analysis calls him their most dynamic and explosive athlete in the secondary, only maybe second to Travis Hunter overall on the team.
Wow, high praise. And you could kind of feel the need for that dynamism watching that first game, couldn't you?
You really could.
Yeah.
Especially if Eric Murray is the other safety. He's more of that steady veteran type. You need that explosive range, that speed to cover ground, maybe erase some mistakes.
So the argument is Savage just brings more juice.
Essentially, yeah. The source is pretty blunt. Savage is seen as superior to Wingard in terms of athletic traits, playmaking ability, and versatility. It's a clear vote for upside and dynamic potential over maybe steadiness alone.
So for you listening, think about that. How much can one player's athleticism really change the whole picture for a defensive backfield? And what does that versatility actually do for a defensive scheme?
Oh, it's huge. A safety with Savage's kind of range and speed changes the geometry of the defense. He can cover more ground sideline to sideline, break on deep balls quicker, maybe even disguise coverages better because he can get places faster.
Okay, so that versatility,
Hmm.
it's not just about playing different spots.
No, it's more about what he allows the coordinator to do. Can he credibly rotate down into the box? Can he handle deep middle responsibility? Can he blitz effectively? If a player can do multiple things well, it keeps the offense guessing.
Right, less predictable.
Exactly. You can show one look pre-snap and morph into something else entirely because you have players athletic enough to execute it. Savage's profile suggests he could be that kind of chess piece. Wingard is solid, but perhaps less dynamic in that regard.
Okay, that makes sense. A tool for creativity or maybe just covering up weaknesses better. Let's shift gears to the second suggested change. This one moves up front. Keep looking for defensive tackle help.
Yeah, and that's a tough one, especially this late in the game. Defensive tackle is such a premium spot.
Why is it so hard to find help there now, in August?
Because the guys who can really take over games, as the analysis puts it, the ones who wreck running plays and collapse the pocket from the inside, they're usually high draft picks or guys who got paid big bucks in free agency back in March.
They're not just sitting around waiting for a call.
Exactly. The pool of truly impactful DTs available now is, well, it's shallow. Teams hold on to those guys tightly.
And the Jaguars have a specific issue right now, don't they?
They do. Mason Smith and Eric Armstead are both sidelined with injuries. Those are two guys they were likely counting on to be major contributors, maybe even starters, on the interior.
So with them out, the recommendation is?
Pretty direct. The analysis says the Jags need to turn every stone for reinforcements, and it specifically mentions exploring a trade.
Wow, exploring a trade this late, that sounds significant. It suggests they see a real problem there.
It does. It signals urgency.
Yeah.
It implies that the current depth, especially with those injuries, might not be cutting it, and they might need to give up assets to fix it.
So let's connect this to the big picture for the listener. Why is defensive tackle so critical, and what does it tell you about a team's strategy if they're scrambling for help there right now?
Well, think of the DTs as the anchor. They're plugging gaps against the run, forcing double teams, hopefully, and pushing the pocket from the inside. A good interior rush makes life way easier for the edge rushers.
Takes pressure off them.
Right. And if you can't stop the run up the middle, or if the QB can just step up comfortably because there's no interior pressure, your whole defensive structure starts to crumble.
Okay.
So when a team is actively, maybe even desperately, looking for DT help this late, it suggests a couple of things. Maybe injuries hit harder than expected. Maybe their initial evaluations of the depth guys were off. Or maybe they realize their current group just isn't good enough to execute the scheme they want. It points to a potential weak link that could compromise the whole defense.
A critical weak link. Got it. Okay, let's move to the third and final change proposed in this analysis. And this one apparently is pretty straightforward.
Yeah, the source calls this one obvious.
Which is?
Simply put, get Travis Hunter more snaps on defense.
Oh, okay. Not exactly a shocker there, given the talent. He's described as an elite athlete with the potential to be one of the NFL's best playmaking cornerbacks. High praise again.
Astronomical praise, really. And you see flashes of why. He's just got those instincts, that fluidity, the ball skills. He looks special.
But there's always the catch with Hunter, isn't there?
There is. The offense?
Yeah.
He's a legitimate two-way threat, and he needs snaps on that side of the ball, too. That's the whole dilemma.
So how does the analysis suggest balancing that?
It basically argues that his offensive role, however valuable, should not interfere with the value he brings the defense. The emphasis is clear. Don't let the desire to use him everywhere dilute his impact where he could be truly dominant, which is at cornerback.
Prioritize defense.
That seems to be the implication. Make sure he gets the rest needed to become that lockdown corner, even if it means maybe scaling back slightly on offense.
That's a fascinating balancing act for the coaches, isn't it? You've got this incredible weapon. Where do you deploy him for maximum effect? How do you weigh offense versus defense with a guy like that?
It's incredibly tough. I mean, how many game-breaking plays could he make on offense? But then again, how much does a true shutdown corner stabilize your entire defense? It allows you to be more aggressive elsewhere, takes away the opponent's best weapon.
Right. It has a ripple effect.
Exactly. A great corner's impact isn't just the passes he defends. It's the throws the QB doesn't even attempt. It's the confidence it gives the rest of the unit.
So those aha moments for the team where they really see his defensive value, how might those manifest if he gets more snaps there?
You'd see it in fewer big plays allowed on his side. Maybe a couple of key interceptions or pass breakups in critical moments. You'd see the defensive coordinator being able to perhaps blitz more often, trusting Hunter to handle his assignment. It's about him consistently making those high-impact defensive plays that swing games, proving that that is where his most profound value lies.
Making the defense demonstrably better, play after play. Okay, so let's quickly recap these three key changes we've discussed for the Jaguars defense.
Sounds good.
First, the call to start Darnell Savage at safety, inject that athleticism and versatility into the secondary.
Second, the urgent need to find defensive tackle help, potentially even via trade, given the injuries and the importance of that interior presence.
And third, the obvious one, Maximize Travis Hunter's snaps on defense, prioritizing his potential to be an elite, game-changing cornerback.
Right. 3 distinct moves,
Hmm.
all aimed at solidifying that unit and making sure they're ready for the real tests ahead. It's about optimizing the talent they have and plugging potential holes before it's too late.
Absolutely. Now, as we wrap this up, here's a final thought for you, the listener, to chew on. We've talked personnel, we've talked strategy,
Mm-hmm.
but remember what Coach Campanile said right at the start about communication, about sideline operation. There's a behind-the-scenes thing.
Intangibles.
Exactly. So, beyond swapping players or finding new ones, how critical are those unseen adjustments? And maybe more importantly, how hard is it to actually fix something like communication or sideline efficiency quickly, especially once the pressure of the regular season hits?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? You can swap players overnight, potentially. But fixing communication, building that trust, that nonverbal understanding, making sure the sideline operation is seamless, that takes time. It takes reps. It takes deliberate practice.
It's not just drawing X's and O's.
Not at all. It's about building habits, ironing out wrinkles in how information flows under pressure. It's arguably much harder to fix quickly than a personnel gap, but potentially just as impactful, if not more so, in the long run. Those are the things that separate good defenses from great ones sometimes.
A really crucial point. So, as you think about the Jaguars heading into the season, which of these changes, Savage, the DT search, Hunter snaps, or maybe even those unseen communication fixes, do you think holds the key? What's the most critical piece for them getting this defense right? Lots to consider there.